Hello guys, it's your boy AD back with another video. Now today's video is gonna be doing with Naruto was insane in How to Yandere Girlfriend part 1. So yeah, anyways, as you can see in the picture, the Naruto's girlfriend is gonna be pretty much from Future Diary. If you don't know what that is, if you don't know what anime that is, it's basically anime about her and Yuki, which is basically the guy in the picture, basically having to play a game to become god or whatever with like future diaries and shit. So yeah, it's pretty interesting if you into like basically games and shit like that. Not really games, but like it's basically if you're interested in like basically that kind of psychopathic thing and shit like that, yeah, you might enjoy that. But yeah, anyways, get this video 25 left for the next part and let me know what you think of this part. And yeah, anyways, without further ado, let's just get the video started. So this wave off in the world of Future Diary, as we start this with number 2, who basically just killed Yuki in this one, like for the second time. So she became god once again. After that, she wanted to basically she basically lived for a while until eventually she basically snapped, saying I'm crazy, basically because of this crazy world not wanting me to basically be with my Yuki or whatever. As she would basically snap, and then she would basically decide that the world isn't worth it anymore, so she'll basically destroy the world and create a whole new one. And then she'll get an idea of basically like she'll basically go over to Yuki's body, and then she would think to herself, since his soul basically won't return back to his body, basically she would basically smirk, as then she would raise her hand up and grab something, then she would disappear into darkness, as she would appear on her throne, as then she would basically raise her hand and release the thing that she was holding, with a smirk on her face, as basically Yuki's soul would fly out of her hand, as it would travel to a basically unconscious red-headed girl who was basically laying down unconscious next to a blonde. They basically just had done the deeds without protection, as a baby's body was basically getting ready to start being formed, whatever, as Yuki's soul basically went inside the baby's body, as to see Asura's soul and Naoto's soul as well, as then he basically saw that Naruto's soul was basically like having some sort of, how do you put this, like basically he's gonna have a bad life or whatever until like the end. He's gonna have a happy life or whatever, but yeah, maybe, who knows. As then he would basically stay there, whatever, as we skip 9 months later, as Kushina basically would give birth like in canon, except that she basically given birth to triplets, as the masked man would basically come in and do the same as in canon, as Minato would basically fight him off, as then Minato would fight him off as in canon, destroying one of his arm, making him flee, as then he'll basically get to focus on the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox, who was basically rampaging to the village of hitting the leaves, as the beast would basically start to condense some chakra in front of its mouth, as then it basically launched a tail beast bomb at the Hokage's stone faces, only for it to get collided with a sealing jutsu and get teleported away, as Minato would basically teleport the tail beast the tail beast itself outside the village, as then his wife would basically come as she'll basically use the her Clanske Genkai, the Uzumaki chakra chains, wrapping them around the beast, as then Minato would basically do some hand signs, but before he basically finished them, he would basically drop to one knees, as he would have gotten up, like look up to see the third Hokage, who basically just had hit him to basically make him stop, as then the third Hokage would do the hand sign that he was doing, but him managing to finishing it before he gets interrupted, as he'll basically do the Upadepsia, as he'll basically the Reaper would appear behind him, as then it would basically hold the Nine Tails itself, and basically, I don't know, suck it or whatever. I don't know what the heck he did in canon, like pull it or whatever, as he would basically seal it into Naruto, as he was in the lifeless body would basically drop on the ground for a sad smile on his face, due to him basically before dying somehow seeing some future events in what he saw. He was kind of disappointed in what he saw and didn't like it at all, as he would basically die, as then Minato would recover from the events, as then he would pick up Naruto and was about to basically stab him with a sweep from kunai, but he basically stopped as a cold sweat basically went down his spine, as we see basically the moon glow a little bit, as you know was basically releasing a lot of killing intent, as that basically scared Miyato, and basically is the one that created the whole world, so like she created Ten Tails, so she created Ten Tails, Utsuskis, everything. So yeah, just I'll put it out there, even like Hago and everybody like that. So yeah, anyways, Metal basically got scared due to basically, releasing a lot of killing intent, as he got scared, but he didn't really know why, as he would just basically look at Naruto with disgust, as he would basically say, "You demon, you basically killed so many of my precious ninjas, and you almost killed my precious wife and 2 children. I'll make sure that you survive to suffer, you stupid demon brat." As Kushina would basically say, "Yes, we will make sure that he suffers the most, like basically the best they can, make him suffer." As yeah, and basically she also said that once or 2 children are basically strong enough, they can basically free the sword of this filthy demon by killing it. As Miyato would basically nod and smirk evilly, as then they basically would disappear into a yellow flash, as we skip 14 years later, my bad, as we see basically Naruto, who basically looked like he hadn't eaten in days, as he was basically sitting in a cage, as then Naruto would basically look up to see Mito. Oh yeah, by the way, Naruto's siblings is like one sister Mito and one brother Menma, which I'm sure you guys probably guessed it by now, but yeah. As he basically looked up to see Mito come into the room, as Naruto is basically seen in the cage, kind of like the one that Yuki was in canon, like Future Diary. If you watched it, it's basically that a little cage that she was in. So this time it's Naruto. As yeah, he'll basically look up to see Mito basically come into the room, as she'll basically come right in front of him, as then he'll basically say, "Hey sis, please help me, I'm so hungry." As she'll basically say, "Okay, big brother, I will basically give you something to eat and drink." As she'll basically smile, as she will basically turn around and start to walk away. As we'll skip about 5 minutes later, as she would come back with a sandwich and basically a sandwich in a cup of soda or something, like a soda or whatever. As then she'll basically give them to Naruto, as he'll basically thank her, saying how much he appreciates her and all that. As then he'll basically start to eat it, but it kind of tasted weird. Like the sandwich tasted weird, as he basically choked on it since it wasn't really good food. Like it was literally expired bread and food and shit like that, and it was like hard and shit. So it kind of got stuck in his throat, whatever. As then, he would basically drink the soda. Huh? Oh. As basically he would drink the soda, to try and basically make the sandwich go down. As it would go down, but in the process, like once it did, it wished his stomach, whatever. He basically started to crush his stomach as and scream in pain. As he'll basically say, where'd you put in the drink? As she'll basically smirk and say, did you really think that this was actually soda, you demon? I put acid in there, basically. As she'll basically start to laugh. As then the whole family, like the whole quote unquote family of Naruto, would basically come into the room, including Jiraiya and Tsunade, which I don't know. I'm pretty sure Tsunade was related to Kushina and Kanen, but I want to say Jiraiya was like a really, really, really long relative to Minato or something, like his great grandparent or something like that. But he never really knew that or something. So yeah, whatever. It's not really gonna change anything at all. You didn't even know that, literally. So yeah, I'm just saying it so that you guys can basically know that it includes them. So yeah, anyways, basically, oh shit. Yeah, basically, they will come in, as then Kushina would basically say, why is this demon screaming so much, being so damn loud? As then all the others would basically agree. As then they would basically, Mito would basically explain what happened. They would all smile, saying you did a good job. As then Miyato even said that he would basically teach her a special jutsu for that. As she would basically be happy. As they would basically walk, I mean, as basically Mema would get pissed off, kind of like he would get jealous. Not wait. Yeah, sorry about that. I got interrupted, so yeah, this is pretty much a long time after. So if we're doing the first part, so yeah, I might actually repeat myself a little bit because I don't remember where I left off. But yeah, basically the whole family comes down, including Jiraiya and Tsunade. As then basically they ask what's happening and like saying why is this demon being so damn loud. As basically Mito would explain how she basically freaking gave him acid to drink and shit like that. So that's why he's screaming and shit. As basically Minato would say, good job, Mito, I'm gonna basically give you a special jutsu for that. And she'll be happy. As then the whole family would basically start to beat on Naruto. Like basically Minato would use some of his 3-palm kunais, Kushina would use some of the chakra chains and everything like that. As unknown to any of them, Kushina used one of her chains to basically stab Naruto, but when he stabbed into Naruto, it got absorbed, like some of the chakra got absorbed into Naruto's body, putting him in a slight genjutsu, showing him basically all of the beating that he got over his lifetime. So yeah, and all the ones he got for the villagers included. So yeah, as basically we're gonna flashback as Naruto was like basically sitting in a cage, as basically villagers would come to the room, and basically since he's locked in the cage, he can't really run or anything like that. He can't even fight back. As they will basically beat on him using like continuously until like basically he's almost dead. As they will use like knives and shit like that. As after they're done beating him, he usually have like a lot of knives stuck in his body and stuff like that, sticking out of him. As we go back to the present, as Naruto basically be getting beaten by his family, quote unquote, because they don't really count as family at this point. So yeah, as then basically he will basically slowly start to say, like in a low and slow voice, say stop. As basically he would continue to say it but faster and louder. until it basically got into a normal voice. As then they would kind of stop, not really stop, but like basically they would like slow down and stop talking so that they can basically hear what he's trying to say. As then he would basically say it again in a louder voice, as he would basically start to basically lift his head up, as shocking the whole family, since Kushina basically used the chakra chains to like hit him in the neck, so like his neck shouldn't be able to move for a while. And basically not Kushina, Tsunade punched him in the face, sending his head back a little bit, so like his neck was kind of hurting in his face as well. As yeah, as basically he would basically look at them dead in the eyes, like basically look at Kushina and freaking Minato in the eyes, as then his eyes would change into like the Ninetales eyes, as then a lot of his skin started to peel off and get changed by like darkest red chakra, as then two fox ears would appear on top of his head and four tails would come from his back. As yeah, his eyes would get changed from like the red eyes that he took from the Ninetales to like the where it's supposed to be white is like black, and then where it's supposed to be red / blue, whatever, it's like basically white. As he will basically start to basically scream, as the family would back off a little bit, as then he would touch the metallic cage, as the cage would basically just melt off, like the metal would just melt like right off. As then he would basically start to get out of the cage to basically see his family, basically, who were kind of scared of him at this point. As another tail will come out of his back, making it 5. As then Minato would basically disappear in a yellow flash, appearing behind Naruto with a Sengun, as he would basically slam it into his back, making him scream in pain and sending him flying into a wall, breaking through it, as the wall would basically crumble down. As he would scream, seeing a mob of villagers who were basically coming to beat him up. As today was his birthday, whatever, as he would basically grow another tail, making it 7, and like making it 6, and then another tail, making it 7, and like the bones, like the Ninetales bones, would come out around him, as he would basically dash through the villagers, ripping them up pieces. As then he would basically look at his quote-unquote family, as then he would basically rush at them, trying to basically slash them with a giant claw of chakra, Ninetales chakra, as he would slash toward them, but only to miss, as Minato had teleported them away in a yellow flash. As Naruto would get pissed, as he would release the whole Ninetales would come out of him, as Naruto's mind would basically be getting destroyed at this point, and basically, well, not fully, not like destroyed, like he couldn't think anymore, mostly like his humanity and stuff like that, and basically his emotions of being nice to people, and like basically like knowing how it's bad to kill people and shit like that, basically that is getting rid of. As then Ninetales would basically proceed to start the Ninetales attack all over again, as Naruto's body would basically be going through extreme pain, and his body would basically be kind of getting destroyed by it's destroying itself, kind of, because it's releasing too much Ninetales chakra, which he's not used to, and like his heart is kind of giving out on him slowly. As Naruto basically be kind of in pain, alright. As we skip to like the over to she was basically releasing a lot of darkness, as it was so much darkness that most people would die just seeing this much darkness, and she'll basically be looking at Naruto's lifeless body, because he kind of died from like releasing the whole Ninetales, that. As then she'll basically see him die, as she'll start to cry, thinking of why basically why does this why can't they ever be together and shit, no matter how hard she tries. As basically she was basically breaking down even more, as basically, yeah, she would get pissed and decide to basically at least try to save him, or if not possible, then she'll basically get revenge for him by killing the whole Leaf Village. As then she'll basically fly down, as yeah, she'll start to fly down to the earth, whatever. As then once she arrives to see basically that the village was basically on fire, but it wasn't completely destroyed. It was just like in canon, just like the Ninetales start all over again, like I said. Except for Ninetales was getting controlled. So yeah. She'll basically get right in front of the Ninetales' eyes. And before the Ninetales will even proceed with like say anything or anything like that, she'll basically tap his forehead, and basically the Ninetales would like get absorbed by Naruto's body again. So except this time there's no seal. It's just literally him absorbing the Ninetales. Ninetales dead. So yeah. Well, the Ninetales is kind of dead, but yeah, I might make him be able to talk to him in the future maybe. But yeah. Anyway, but Naruto basically has all the Ninetales powers now, but like he is more different than how he used to be with Ninetales. As Naruto would wake up to find basically Yuno hugging him and basically crying, as then he'll basically hug her back, thinking that she might care about him, and he just kind of felt like this happened before, like this kind of felt familiar to him for some reason. As he'll basically go unconscious again, as will basically pick him up and give his family and the whole village a death stare. As then basically kind of like let me see if I have one, kind of like this, but like for the smile, whatever, I guess. Yeah. As basically, yeah, they would leave, long story short. As then, yeah, they would leave. We skip 5 minutes later, 5 hours later, Naruto would basically be laying on a bed, as he would wake up to see that he was basically completely healed, not a single wound on his body. So yeah, sorry about that, I got a little bit interrupted, but yeah. Anyways, basically Naruto would wake up to see basically that he was laying on a bed, as he would get up to see that he was basically completely healed, not a single wound, as he basically felt normal, like his mind wasn't as messy as it was before, like after the whole Ninetales thing. As he would be happy about that, but a little bit confused, as he would basically get up and look around to see basically cooking some basically food like she didn't basically kind of whatever, as she's actually a really good cook in like the actual anime. So yeah, she basically made food. As then Naruto remembers seeing her, since she didn't really attack him or didn't hurt him, so he basically didn't run immediately, as he'll basically cough to basically tell her that he was awake. As she'll basically look up to see him, as she'll basically smile and run up to him, hugging him, as basically that would feel familiar to Naruto, but he wouldn't really know why, but he wouldn't pull away or anything. As then she'll introduce herself, saying that she's Gashi or whatever his last name is. As then they'll basically eat, like basically Naruto was hungry, so they'll eat. As she would explain who she is and how she sent Yuki's soul into Naruto so that they could be together again, whatever. As Naruto would basically start to cry, as he would remember Yuki's life basically, as he would kiss as he would basically say that he remembers what happened and how they basically the whole game thing. So yeah, as then his hair would basically change from the kind of dry yellow, basically a fading yellow, to a black color, as then his normal blue eyes would go from like a hollow blue to like a basically Ninetales eyes, like a red, like basically black instead of the white color, and like freaking red in the pupils, whatever. As then basically his hair would go like a little bit down as well, kind of like how is in like, where is it? His hair would basically look like this, but like completely black, not a little bit brown. So yeah, and his eyes were like, instead of the white being there, it's like black, and then instead of the blue, it's like red. So yeah. Anyways, basically he wouldn't really mind the new look. He would actually like it, and would kind of like it as well, since he looked more like Yuki anyways. As then basically they would live together for like 2 years, as basically getting close to each other and whatnot, and training, as basically gave Naruto some abilities, since she's basically God. As one of the powers that she gave him being basically darkness release, as this allowed Naruto to basically travel to shadows and of anything dark, as he was basically able to control darkness, be darkness itself, as all that, as he can control it to do anything he wants, even give it a physical body, a shape, whatever. As it also allow him to absorb attacks, like let's say you fireball jutsu at him, he could use darkness to absorb that and all that, and he could also absorb chakra, like he could wrap a tail beast on and absorb it. I don't know, but yeah, anyways, he can do that stuff with the darkness. As there's other abilities as well, but I'm not going to go over them. I'm gonna let you guys pretty much figure out when he's using them. As he basically, yeah, he's kind of like he has like basically kind of a messed up mind as well. Like he's kind of like a yandere as well, but like not to a degree where it's like she's insane, whatever. Well, he kind of is, but yeah. Anyways, basically he's kind of like to the point like he doesn't really care about most people, but like what's it called? He has a pretty deep hatred for the Leaf Village and all that, because what they did to him. As yeah, as he basically has a deep desire to basically kill them, but he would restrain himself if needed. As they basically were now currently walking to the elemental nations, as they would arrive at the village. It was basically the land of wave country, whatever village. As they will basically Tazuna's village, as they'll basically go and like stay for like a drink or something. As we go into basically the Hidden Leaf Village, as we see Mema and Mito had just passed the academy, and they basically became a team. But Mema and Mito basically got in a team 7 with like Sasuke instead of it being the original Naruto and shit. As they passed the academy in the exam and all that, as except this time they didn't really like they didn't really have to get as much grades as they did in canon, because of the whole night attack to the village was kind of weak right now, so they pretty much gave people more than what they deserve, like higher rank they what they actually are. As what's it called? They got in a team, and they basically got in a team with Mema, Mito, and Sasuke, and the team leader is like Kushina. So yeah, as basically they didn't even have to get the the test, the bell test or anything. As basically Mema and Mito were like, we're good, we're gonna have to be gaining, and Kushina was like, hell yeah, because she's basically supporting them. As yeah, anyways, basically they got in a team and they do a bunch of C-rank missions. As this time Kushina kills like no, they do a bunch of B-rank mission, D-rank mission, my bad. and like incarnating the Kashin Torah and all that stuff. And then they eventually get the Sea Rank. But this time, when like the demon brothers came out, she didn't fake her death. She just like killed both demon brothers before they could hurt her children or whatever. As basically they will continue to go and don't really have the interaction with Zabuza because he was not hired yet by Gato yet. Instead, they basically sent two goons to kill the Tazuna, but the team take care of them because they just thought it was some random there was just some random bandit, but it wasn't. It was actually sent by Gato, but they didn't really know that. Since Gato got to her, they basically heard that they basically died, so he basically got worried a little bit and hired Zabuza. And there's Zabuza planning to attack at the bridge, as Team 7 will basically be walking around the village, going to Tazuna's house since he basically got to the end of wave safe. As while they were walking, they will accidentally bump into two people, one of them being basically a male with black hair, black eyes, and red pupils, and all that, as he had 3 whisker marks as well, and one female with a black dress, and basically the dress is like this one, except she doesn't really have abs. So yeah, it's like the black dress and reddish / pink hair and 2 long ponytails, and and 2 red eyes as well. But this is much I'm gonna bring up. If you guys like and enjoyed, let me know what you guys thought of this one. And get this video 25 like for the next part. And before following you, I'm gonna be out for now. Peace.